Joining us now to discuss is Bloomberg's Anthony Hughes. And Anthony, let's talk about first, the TikTok of this, because there's always a confidential filing that we always somehow know about anyway. Then there's a public filing that's expected on Monday, and then we're expecting pricing on, I think, June 11th, and then maybe trading on June 12th?
Yeah, so the timetable for IPOs is somewhat dictated by the SEC review process, but really we've been reporting on this all year. But in late March we reported that SpaceX actually filed confidentially, and there's been various reports about what's in that document. But on Wednesday, or sometime this week, it may not be Wednesday, it may be earlier, or maybe later. These things can move over time, so you have to put a little bit of a caveat.
Much like a rocket launch,
yes.
Which is why I think it's so interesting that Wednesday is the date. I mean, Bloomberg and Reuters and others are reporting the public filing will come on Wednesday, but they're also scheduled to launch their all-important Starship rocket on Wednesday afternoon, and this is a rocket that last time exploded on the pad. So, you want to think it's going to go well for the IPO.
Yeah, well, I think things like that will be important, but I think once we get through this process, which is really going to accelerate now, we're really going to people are going to look at other parts of the business as well. I mean, there's a Starlink part of SpaceX, which is really where a lot of the revenue and cash flow is coming from, and also there's Elon Musk's AI ambitions, which are really sort of, that's where all the interest in the market is at the moment, and so SpaceX is going to tie into that as well. So, the space launch business is going to be obviously a great and interesting part of the business because they have such a dominant role in that business.
So those are the big, Starlink, the money maker, right, the cash flow generator. This rocket launch business is one that isn't going to have huge expanding margins or amazing growth, although it is very big and interesting to look at. What are these valuations based on? How do they get to $2 trillion? And has Musk downplayed that a little bit?
He hasn't really said that much during this process about the valuation. I think, he's made a few cryptic comments on Twitter, I think so. But it's not really until, the start of June here we're going to see the actual valuation. And sometimes, the reported valuation can be higher or lower than what it actually turns out to be on the day. And the other thing that's going to be interesting here is that, they might want to start off with a little bit of a lower valuation, and as momentum for the IPO builds during the process, they may look to upsize or increase the size of the offering. So, the process is going to evolve over time here, but it's all accelerating now through the next 2 or 3 weeks, and obviously there's going to be a lot of excitement. But the point at which people are going to really be thinking about investing in SpaceX is going to be, early June, and that's when, obviously institutions. There's been reports that institutions have already showed a lot of interest. So, there's obviously a huge amount of momentum already, but retail investors will really get a look in early June.
And of course, they're going to want to get hold of it. Maybe we'll see something like we did last week with a company that goes public at 185 after shopping shares at 160, and then all of a sudden, boom, jumps to 380 on the first day of trading. Yeah,
so interestingly, with that IPO, Cerebras, they included a novel sort of lock-up structure, which also, helps them have a smoother debut. But obviously, the price that SpaceX starts with when they show the terms in early June is going to be interesting. But it might change over time. It'll probably, if it's a smooth process, the valuation should go up over time, and as to ensure there's good momentum through the process, and you have a successful outcome for everyone. But there's lots of things, a lot of water to flow under the bridge yet.